So I haven't done a video on sponge filters in a while, and well, really filters in general. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the two most common filters, which is sponge filters, which is my favorite filter now, and also a hang-on back. But I wanted to show some parts too for anyone who's still getting in the hobby. I've been talking about new hobbyists for a while, and this kind of goes in still with that. So it's probably basic information for a lot of people, but a sponge filter basically just looks like this. This is a pre-sponge filter, which is a different type. It's one that goes and attaches to a hang-on back or a canister. They fit on either one usually, depending on the size. And then what they do is they block the intake where water comes in. That's why it's called an intake, and it allows bigger particles not to get trapped, and also like shrimp. So perfect example, hang on backs are good. They hang on the back, that's why they're called that. But they do suck up like shrimp and other small fry and stuff. So having a sponge filter helps, and that's another reason I like sponge filters. They can't get stuck in this intake part. You see. So if you don't have this, you're likely to still go through those little slits and get sucked into the pipe. So you got to be careful with that. Sponges, like the more traditional one that runs on an air pump, already does that, and there's no moving parts inside. So even if they find their way, like I've seen shrimp crawl into the tube, they can't, shrimp or snails, they can't die because, well, there's no real moving parts. Here, in the back of that, the reason they block that, going up that pipe and around the U, there's an impeller. It's like a little spinning, basically piece of plastic. They look a little bit like a turbine or a blade down there in that hole. And if they go all the way in there, let's just say a very small snail goes in there, you can actually break them. So hang-on backs are faulty by design in that regard, that if something does make its way all the way through, or I've seen algae just like clog up the impeller, or really just dirt, or try to still stop spinning. If they stop spinning, guess what happens? They stop working. And then they usually come with like a little cover to like keep the water just going down like in a waterfall. Again, if you like the waterfall look, it's cool for that. And then the cool thing about Aquarium Co-op is they sell different pads, including a sponge one that looks like sponge filter, and you can use it as a sponge filter, which you can add multiple layers into a hang-on back and then make your own filter. You don't have to buy company filters. It's one of the biggest scams ever. Like, you don't have to go to a retail store and buy a cartridge-based filter. You can make your own. That's anyone who tells you otherwise is literally just lying to you. You cannot argue with me on that. They make pads. They make a bunch of companies do that. It's literally a scam. That is the biggest scam in the industry, probably. So make your own filters too if you do run a hang-on back. If you run a sponge though, you don't have to buy the material at all, even the pads, but they are cheaper, and again, some people like them. You can just run a sponge. So basic, and it works.